I'm excited for our next guest.
Yes.
Joachim de Koning is somebody I met over on the beautiful platform of LinkedIn. But he's working on something really neat. And it's a little more technical. So Josh, you'll probably have more questions than I do. I'll kind of let you guys talk, and I'll let you know when it doesn't make sense, because not all of our listeners are crypto experts and they don't need to worry about all that. But there are a lot of great possibilities. So without further ado, let's bring on our next guest. Joachim, join the show.
Hi.
Hi,
yeah,
how are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm doing good here in the Netherlands. Next to me here is Robert. He's currently working on stuff. He's my co-founder.
Yeah, is he made of light? Is he God?
No, yeah, it would be nice if he was, but there he is. They're putting the light
right. So why don't you give us give us the pitch. Give us the elevator pitch. What is the Internet of Coins?
Yeah, the Internet of Coins is an environment for personal finance. It's actually crypto personal finance because we're not focused on fiat money. So what we're doing is we're creating an environment that basically anyone can just log into, and it's going to be completely decentralized. And then they have an overview of all their cryptocurrencies. But not just that, they can also trade them amongst each other without having to go through any central middleman. And now you can say, okay, yeah, that's already been done. And that's true, because if you look at like great initiatives like BitSquare, you can see that there's already trading possibilities. So what we want to do is take it a step further. We want to make it very easy for people to switch between these cryptocurrencies and make sure that they don't have to worry about things like order books or liquidity, which in the decentralized exchanges is currently still an issue. So yeah, we're going to make it possible to trade digital assets and currencies completely peer-to-peer with an easy-to-use interface and the opportunity to earn fees by participating as an allocator in the network.
So how fast is this? Like when Mt. Gox happened, me and my brother, I lost a lot of money in Mt. Gox. The first thing I sat down and tried to figure out how to build a decentralized exchange. Unfortunately, at the time, the opcode return codes weren't everything. Technically, it just wasn't really ready, and it was going to be too slow. How are you dealing with the lag of the network? Are you basing it on the Bitcoin blockchain? Is there another blockchain? What's going on there?
We've created something called a transactional operating system, and it's a system that runs a type of chain system called a weave chain. And it's basically different than a blockchain because it doesn't continue to grow in size, but it's like a FIFO system. So things can go in the front and be verified by means of consensus, but also data that is no longer utilized for a long time gets pushed out of the back. So there have been models in the past like this. If you look at, for example, Freenet, you see that also it's being done there, like a cash system, or BitMessage also does that. So it's not completely new. And what we want to do with that is make sure that all these blockchain ledgers that do keep their data, which for a good reason is being done for financial transactions, it's very important to keep that data, but that they are connected together, but that we don't add to the weight of storage, but instead make it faster. So a weave chain has a lot of these threads walking next to each other, like a lot of these chains that have a FIFO in and out system. And they're being hashed by a central type of a thread, as it were, a strand, and it's a decentralized system. So when I say central, it's like it's a core strand that hashes the rest of these strands and keeps them together. But just like the other strands, it just pushes the data out when it's no longer necessary out of the back.
So let's just bring it back to normal person language, actual use case, because if we delve in the background there, you're going to lose a lot of people, and I think it's super fascinating. But I'd like to know, like, step by step, how do I go about this? What do I do? I download a wallet, I download something, and I upload. Where do I go? How do I do this? I've got some Litecoin and I want Bitcoin.
Yeah, currently we're in alpha testing, but when we bring out the beta, you can basically just go to a website and log in deterministically, and your browser becomes a node at that moment.
When you say deterministically, you're saying with a 12-word seed or something like that, so it's always the same, is that correct?
Well, deterministically means that we don't need to store any of your login data or authentication data. So this is not a new thing either. This concept is already being proven in Bitcoin itself. If you have a deterministic wallet, you can log into something and your credentials at that moment, in that sense, your key becomes the key to your ecosystem, your environment at that moment. So at that moment, you can create transactions in your browser.
Cool. And then?
And then the idea is that you see all these cryptocurrencies. You can choose which ones you want to use. You can choose your favorite ones. So we're going to look at the UX experience to make it very easy. And if you want to switch a cryptocurrency from one to the other, you basically don't have to look at order books or set prices. You just say, okay, I want to convert so many of these cryptocurrencies into another type. And it just can be done by the click of a button. So we want to make it real simple. And the liquidity aspect we're looking at, which is currently a problem on the decentralized exchanges, is that we use a mechanism that is called allocation. And it's interesting because when I looked at Abra, they're using something that they call tellers. And what we're doing looks very much like it, but we do it between multiple cryptocurrencies. So we're not using fiat currencies in this case. But it looks very much alike. And so I thought it was very nice, very interesting to see that. And yeah, so I'm very interested also in Abra, and I think I will also start trying that out. But yeah, but as for Internet of Coins, we will be working this from a perspective of a not-for-profit. So our approach is really doing this from a more grassroots perspective to try and include every potential cryptocurrency user, but also every current cryptocurrency user into being able to use the platform.
So is this effectively a decentralized shapeshift?
Yeah, it has. We have been compared to Shapeshift in an article, but it does look like decentralized Shapeshift in that sense. Of course, in our case, what will be interesting is it's just like Bitcoin. It will be a bit of an experiment because doing this in a decentralized fashion, like we're doing with allocation, has not been done yet. So we have to find out, okay, is it going to work as intended? Or are we also going to run into liquidity problems like other DEXs have had? And so, you know, we're just kind of trying to approach this from a realistic perspective. So we've been working on the decentralized transactional operating system for 2 years. And now we're doing our first alpha tests with a group that have eco-villages here in the Netherlands. And they don't want to work with money. So they're not interested in euros. They want to work with cryptocurrencies only. And so they're a very interesting test group because they just want to try it out and see, can they actually buy and sell stuff with it in the community?
That's great. And how are you funded?
Well, we paid our way a lot of this ourselves. And we've had a grant from a Dutch organization in the Netherlands. They're called SIDN. And they're the SIDN fund. They've been funding projects that keep the internet a free place. And so we got a grant from them. And that's helped us along a little bit. And now we are also looking for, we're now also doing a fundraiser to try and get the projects up to a higher scale to make sure that we can quickly bring out this UI also to make people use it.
Great. Well, Tatiana, this is, my God.
Isn't the
every time,
Bitcoin for the
people, yeah, Bitcoin for the win. Absolutely. I mean, it's really phenomenal. So how open is this to how many currency pairs?
We're going to try and include every single cryptocurrency that is there, and we don't need to make any changes to any wallets. So groups that have created their own cryptocurrency don't have to change their wallets. So we want to try and create an environment like the internet was in the beginning, where you could just spin up a website if you wanted. In this case, you can spin up a coin if you want and just offer it on basically on a decentralized financial web.
So for instance, Tatiana Coin's based on the counterparty protocol. Is that so that'll work. So if a coin's based on something slightly different, say I don't know, Monero or something like that, it'll still work?
It will still work. Yeah, we are going to include every strange, weird type of cryptocurrency. Doesn't matter what it is. Bitcoin and all its derivatives actually have not been the most difficult one. There are also methods to swap between those, like atomic transactions, that we can use in the Internet of Coins system. That's great. And for others, BitSquare has been developing some interesting ways to swap coins as well. So we're just integrating all these methods to make them offered from one platform, from one easy way to do it. But for some cryptocurrencies, we have developed a method called Haystack, and it's going to be used to make sure you can switch between very odd types of combinations that until now have not yet been possible to do.
Haystack and weave chains. How do you come up with these names?
The weave chain is basically what we saw as if you have a multiple blockchain system that just keeps on developing. It's like a woven thing. So yeah, that's kind of how we just we started calling it that.
Nice. Oops, there goes my telephone.
So how many people are on your team right now?
Right now we have a team of 10 people, and the alpha test group is about 50 people.
Very cool.
That's
Josh,
really
I feel
cool.
like this
So
is
when
more
can people...
complicated stuff. You must have more questions than I do. How? Okay,
No,
no, wait,
I'd
actually, that lends us to an interesting question. How would a regular person even know about this? Why would they care?
Well, if they're completely not interested in cryptocurrency, truthfully, they might not even care. But what we want to find out is how can we get more and more people interested in cryptocurrency? So Bitcoin itself, there have been a lot of interesting applications that have tried to draw people into the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I think that's a good thing. And with Internet of Coins, we want to do the same thing, but for a lot of cryptocurrencies. We also want to create an environment in which cryptocurrencies could, as it were, be rated, so that you can see which ones are actually being innovative compared to what Bitcoin has done as well, which is I think the most innovative cryptocurrency to date. So we've seen a lot of things being developed in the crypto sphere, as I call it, and a lot of developments and ideas. But some of them also have been blatant scams, and it would be nice that people can just by rating these cryptocurrencies, can say, well, I like this one, but I don't like that one. And then in our system, you can also see warnings with certain coins that are definitely, not going to be of much use to people because they're basically pump and dump scams. So we want to find out, like, how can we make this easy for someone to understand who doesn't have time to read through all the forums and all the information that's out there.
Yeah, fantastic. And how long does a trade typically, how long will it take? So if I'm trading from one coin to another, what sort of time scale are we looking at?
Well, currently, in what we've made until now, if you exchange, for example, between Bitcoin and Monero, you're dependent on the blockchain time of the slowest chain. So if, for example, if we don't use Lightning, which currently we're not doing yet with Bitcoin, then it would take approximately 10 minutes to have a completely verified interledger transaction. But with other cryptocurrencies, the block time is a lot faster. So you could say, hey, well, that's not very fast, and that's right. That's something we're working on. But our first goal is to just make it work by itself and make sure it's possible. So for extreme speeds, people will still have to go to the exchanges at this moment. But I do think that the speed will increase as we keep on developing, and that also that will become less of an issue into the future.
Yeah, and I think, you have to wait to load an exchange anyway. Although, once it's there, you can keep trading.
And it carries its own risk. That's true. Yeah.
Exactly. It absolutely does. Wow. I'm blown away. Thank you very much. There's so much innovation happening in this space. It's really such an amazing time to witness all of this happening. Where can people find out more about this? Who can they follow?
Currently, we have our website is coinstorm.net, which is that it's our campaign website, and we have more information also on internetofcoins.org, which is the website we've already had for a longer time, where we post more general information and also blogs.
Great stuff.
Awesome. I like this. We'll be sharing about both these projects, I think, on social media and stuff. And people are at home listening to this, you can just click on the descriptions. The show actually airs on liberty.me, lrn.fm, IPM Nation. I actually just joined Matt on the show there last week, and also Let's Talk Bitcoin.